Brought to you by Penguin.
Nothing But Blue Sky by Kathleen MacMahon. Read by Stephen Hogan. 1. I went back to Agua Clara this summer, primarily because I had failed to go back the previous year, and had come to see that failure as a breach of faith. It was, at the very least, a breach of the tradition that Mary Rose and I had first established on our honeymoon. Throughout our marriage we returned to Agua Clara for 2 weeks every summer. Most often it was the same 2 weeks at the start of July, although one year we had to delay going back by a week to facilitate a family wedding. Another year we had to fly home early for a funeral, but there was never a year we did not go, until last year. That was the first time the chain was broken, and I was anxious to repair it by going back. The other reason I wanted to go back was that it was in Agua Clara that Mary Rose and I were at our happiest. We had laid claim to it as our place, jealously keeping it a secret from everyone else. Whenever people asked us where we were going on our holidays, we would vaguely mention the Costa Brava. If pressed, we might mention the name of a neighbouring town along the coast, but Agua Clara was the word that could not be spoken. So precious was it to us that we could not bear the thought of sharing it. Year after year we landed there, blinking like newborn rabbits after another interminable Irish winter, pasty and stiff after completing another lap of our lives. Agua Clara was our pit stop. It was the place where we mended ourselves, marinating gently in a brew of salt water and sunshine. In Agua Clara, we paused to take stock of our lives, coming to terms with the passing of another year and making plans for the one to come. Agua Clara was where we held our AGM. It was the place where all of our most illuminating conversations took place, unplanned, over an extra bottle of wine on a random weeknight. Mary Rose and I never had a tree with our initials carved into the bark. There was no bridge with a padlock bolted to the railings as a testament to our love. What we had was Agua Clara, and it seemed to me that the pain of being there without her could hardly be greater than the pain of being anywhere else without her. At least in Agua Clara, there might be some memory of our lives together that I had until then forgotten. That was the hope I had in going back. When you return to a place year upon year, there is always the fear that something will have changed. Mary Rose and I first went to Agua Clara 20 years ago, and every time we went back, it was with dread in our hearts that we would find something altered, that the idyll we had found for ourselves would no longer be idyllic. Maybe a new multi-story hotel had been built on the seafront, or a noisy disco opened in the centre of the village. In Ireland, one of those things would no doubt have happened, with planning permission secured in exchange for a brown envelope, but the Spanish seemed determined to keep things just the way they always had been, which to us was an eternally pleasant surprise. We would fly into Girona, picking up the hire car and pointing it out the road towards the coast, through fields of ladylike sunflowers and farmhouses of dark gold stone. In the distance, sand-castled towns rose out of the low hills. Trees like standing feathers lined the roads, sun pouring down over everything, casting stencils of shade. The road cut through a dozen dreary villages that seemed to have no industry at all but the roadside sale of ceramic urns and pots. "How can a whole region survive on the sale of ceramic pots?" I said, the first time we rolled through the town of La Bisbal d'Empordà. Its arched colonnades were more fitting to a place 10 times its size.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?